What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about Gladiator cards, specifically in Ranked, and with the recent failure of the proposal that wanted to restrict Gladiator cards below Silver League, we now know that we're going to have to deal with Gladiators. And, specifically a lot of the commentary, especially from the top stakeholders, was that let's not focus on making major game changes, right? The DAO's purview and really the DAO's jurisdiction is just over the SPS, voucher, and node license tokens. So while we can do stuff in game, I think there's a heavy movement against doing anything that actually is going to make some major changes. So for the most part, we are going to just have to deal with this. Now, I just want to clarify, you can see that I voted for this, and even though it failed, I'm not too upset about it. For me, it doesn't impact my gameplay, and I even find myself using Gladiators a lot now in Gold, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening in Diamond and Champion as well, mainly because as people start to max out their Soulbound Reward cards and build up the Gladiator decks, I mean, these cards are just super powerful and make a ton of sense in very specific rule sets throughout the game. The main reason that I thought it would be beneficial to restrict is just for new players. And maybe bronze was too far. Maybe it should just be a novice thing. But in a way, right, where new players coming in can't earn the card, can't go buy the cards, right? Either Gladiator or Soulbound Reward cards, at least for the time being, right? The Soulbound Reward cards should be unlockable soon, but Gladiator cards definitely not. Then it just seemed like it was not great for new players. Either way, spilled milk, we're not going to cry over it. The community has voted, and we're not going to make that change. But the good news is that I believe we only have to deal with this for a limited amount of time. And what I'm talking about is when Chaos Legion, and therefore Chaos Legions, or the associated reward cards, including the Soulbound reward cards, when those rotate out of Modern, it will not be as big of a deal. Now, they might become super pervasive out in Wild, but again, Wild, anything goes, and you're dealing with Kitty and Yodin and Llama there anyway. So, Gladiators adding to the mix might actually make it a little bit more, I don't know, might make it a little bit more of an even playing field if Gladiators are going to dominate that much. But I don't think anybody wants to talk about Kitty getting demoted by Katrelba or something like that. Either way, I'm totally digressing here. The main thing that I'm trying to talk about is when would this actually happen? And I had somebody ask a question like, when would we expect for Chaos to rotate out? So I want to remind folks that back in September, October, after Matt took over, somebody had asked him, right, with the announcement of Rebellion, like, what is the life cycle of a core set, right? Core sets being Chaos Legion and Rebellion, right? And that, of course, includes their associated reward cards, promos, and all that. But the core sets, when those come out, that is what rotates Modern format. And, we're still relatively new in this. Modern format was only created with Chaos Legion, and we had our first rotation ever just last month with Rebellion. So Matt's response was that he would like to see a 15 to 18 month cycle, right? Which is up from the 12-month cycle that Aggie had talked about, many, many months and years ago. But if Matt, is able to kind of stick the landing on this and get and design it and plan it out the way that he's hoping for, that would put us in like Q2 to Q3 of next year when we would expect the next core set to come in and correspondingly rotate Modern format and rotate Chaos Legion out of Modern format. So we have a year plus with these cards. They are definitely a very, very important part of the meta. And certain ways in which I think, maybe the team could make things interesting is maybe add certain rule sets where the conscript ability is not usable, right? We already have silent summoners, so sometimes in those games you cannot use specific what's that called? You can't use specific, summoners, and you can't use specifically soulbound summoners for that purpose. But there are other ways in which the team could spice up gameplay where it's not just, the big banhammer coming down saying like, if you're in such and such league, you can't use it. But if it does become too pervasive, then there could be certain rule sets or other things that the team puts in. Either way, like I said, I don't really mind it that much. It's kind of fun to see, not Martyr, but Bloodlust just go absolutely crazy with some of these cards. And I enjoy it for, whatever it is within the meta. Now, for newer players, that's where my concern was. But until we get these new players coming in and actually complaining about it, again, it remains to be seen whether we're going to get these new players. Now, hopefully we do, and hopefully there will be, if we need to readdress this at some point, there will be people who can listen to the argument and maybe reconsider it. But at this point in time, I'm not going to worry about it anymore, knowing that there is a date, right? And again, it's kind of floating, but anywhere between Q2 and Q3 of next year when Chaos would rotate out of Modern. Now, what can we do in the meantime? Well, I'm just going to continue to win. I'm just going to continue to try and earn as much as possible and level up my cards. Now, what's going to be interesting is, will Gladiator cards maybe get other utility? I don't know if they'll be able to use them on land or if there'll be other game modes and things like that. But I have to imagine, right? Like if and when they do rotate out of Modern format, well, then all of a sudden they go back to only being available in brawls, right? Or specific rule sets. So, not that I'm trying to add more stuff for the team, but I am curious to know, okay, we know that this date is coming. We know that there's going to be another core set at some point in the future. When that happens, what's going to happen to all these Gladiator cards that people have come to know and love? But that's a problem for the future, right? And right now, I think it still makes a ton of sense just to max out your cards, your Gladiator cards, and of course your Soulbound reward cards as much as possible. Now, here's the thing. If we can get to a point, especially by the middle of this year, where Soulbound reward cards do become unlockable, and maybe we switch over from Chaos Legion to Rebellion reward cards, well, now is the time when you should be trying to maximize your Soulbound summoners, and if you can, try to get any extras if possible. Now, I know that's much easier said than done. It's really only people in Diamond and Champion that are starting to fully max out cards. But when they do become unlockable, my guess is that with new players coming in, if they're not even able to earn Soulbound reward summoners, right? With Conscript, they'll be able to earn Gladiator cards as long as they're participating, but they'll be coming to the marketplace to try and find those summoners that can bring those Gladiators in. So again, I'm just going to continue playing, trying to earn as many chests as possible, trying to earn as many of these reward cards as possible. And, for anything extra at that point, to me, that's where, we might have some extra value. I always talk about it's really going to be the gold foil epics, the gold foil. I guess we can say just all gold foil cards that are going to have a lot of value, whether it's on land or whether it's on the marketplace for people who just love to collect gold foil cards. But when it comes to the Soulbound reward cards, summoners could be there as well. And, maybe I'll do a separate video where we look at the print rates of those summoners. But either way, to me, if we do ever get that crazy, amount or a rush in that people, that we're all expecting, a rush of a new player base, those cards could become interesting. And so for right now, I'm just going to keep on playing the game. I'm going to keep using the DEC kind of for energy, kind of not exploit, but obviously I can burn and earn enough and kind of just cycle through and just try to earn as many chests as possible, hoping that I get as many of these Soulbound summoners so that I can max mine out and then have a bunch to potentially give to prospective new players in the future. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.